What's happening, y'all? This is Alexander, and this is my brother, Austin. I know we don't look anything alike.
Not at all. Not one bit.
We're on the Lexington and Concord Podcast, brought to you by 2If by C Tactical, a gun shop as the founders intended it. This here is the founder of that gun shop, and I am Employee of the Month. It's crazy, though. I've been Employee of the Month for 3 years.
Give or take 4 or 5 years. Yep.
I've been vying for a friggin' raise, so...
Well, I gave you a podcast. What more do you need?
He gave me a check, and in the note section, it was like, you got a 100% raise, and it was for $0. $0. So thank you for wasting paper.
It's Biden-inflation. What can I say? It's
Biden's not in office anymore.
Well,
so.
it's tough.
Anyways,
I'll pay him in Trump $100 bills.
This podcast is sponsored by High Point.
Yes, that's why we have this blank section on the wall, High Point.
We're not actually sponsored by High Point.
We reserved it just for you. Send us some stuff. We'll put it up there.
We want to be sponsored by High Point.
Yes.
So, shout out to them. All American firearms. And it's a brand that doesn't pretend to be anything that it's not.
No. In fact, as an 0702, I really want to get my hands on a couple of them just to see if we can make a switch for one of them.
Why aren't there High Point switches?
I'm just
saying. You got the Glock switch.
Yes.
You would think of all the guns out there that need a switch or an FRT. High Point. Like, imagine this, right? Just close your eyes. Beautiful. A nice High Point, JXP. Threaded barrel. Got an optic on there. Ooh. Suppressor. Light.
It's got the weight, too, that it really you shouldn't really have any recoil.
Wait. Even better. High Point, JXP, suppressor, nice suppressor, because you got that threaded barrel.
You do have the threaded barrel.
You throw on the Hollow Sun thermal pistol optic with the underbarrel digital device, and then an FRT.
I would actually
or
travel.
A switch.
I'll travel in
legal
Minneapolis
switch.
With that.
We would never advocate for doing anything that the ATF says not to do.
No.
Big fans of the ATF.
We trust, right?
Big fans of the ATF over here.
Yes.
You guys are doing a bang-up job.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Just remember, there's no kids in the shop.
Or dogs. There's no dogs, so please leave us alone.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. That's the shop down the street.
So we're both big fans of High Point just because it's fun. Like, who doesn't love a good High Point? They make things in all kinds of different...
They're pretty smooth.
They're sweet.
Yeah.
And,
I feel like I could fully automatic one of those. Then
I feel like they should just sponsor the whole city of Minneapolis. No, it's
or
not
Venezuela.
It's not a good idea.
It'd be great for Venezuela.
Anyways,
they might could afford it.
So we're just gonna kind of BS about. We've been in the gun industry for a while.
Yeah.
I just pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Travel around, do a lot of shooting. You obviously own a gun shop, so you have lots of experience. But I think we should get into our origins for guns, because that's a fun story. And full circle here. So
very unusual, too, when you consider where we're sitting.
Yeah, for sure. So fun story. And I'm gonna throw you under the bus. And every wheel is gonna hit you.
That's the way it works.
So I kind of always was pretty pro-gun. It's surprising. We grew up in Alabama.
Yep.
We didn't necessarily grow up around guns. We didn't have a ton of guns in the house.
We were the shotgun and maybe a revolver, if I remember correctly. It wasn't much.
And we never really went shooting a bunch. I guess we did because we were in Alabama and we went to a proper Southern church, so there was shooting events for the church.
Yeah, shot with the pastor quite a bit.
We would shoot skeet and stuff like that, but it was never anything all that serious. But we were both kind of a little bit into paintball, into airsoft. I got really into airsoft when I got to be in high school. And then I went out, and this is how dumb I am. And I've told this story before, but there was a flea market up in Tennessee. I think I was 17.
I remember this, yes.
And I'd saved up all my money, and I literally told myself I want to go buy an assault rifle. That's what I said. I think out loud. It hurts me now. I'm like,
he probably said it in the car by himself.
Yeah, 100%.
On his way up there.
I'd for sure talk to myself. Yeah. Half of me thinks you're just a figment of my imagination right now. So I go up there. I think I had, no kidding. it was a little over $200, and half of that was in again, Walmart gift cards. I think I had $50 in Walmart gift cards, or like a Walmart Visa card, you know. And I found some old dude. I really wanted an AK, couldn't find an AK. And instead of being, you know, the older, mature person and waiting for another day when an AK would come around, I decided I had to have something that day because I already had my heart set on it. So I bought an SKS, a Chinese SKS.
I just gotta put in perspective. He drove to Tennessee. He crossed state lines.
Okay, let's not add that. Let's not add things to the story. Shut up. So I come home. We do a little shooting. We make sure that the gun works.
If I remember correctly, you shot it in a farmer's field immediately. No permission, of course. Like, why would we ask permission?
It was an open field.
It was an open field. No one was there, of course. Berm, I don't remember.
We shot it into the ground.
I think so. But
we wanted to make sure that it worked.
The problem was we made sure it worked after we purchased and left. There was a slight flaw in our
I would have tracked that guy down. I would have tracked that guy down.
But it did work. It did work. Still have it to this day, actually.
I was such an idiot. I was pulling out. I had like literally taken the gun and like set it in my driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I like buckled it in. And I was just like, is this not the most beautiful thing in the world? And I'm like leaving. And there's a county sheriff who's like directing traffic, and he like stops me, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail. You know, like this is great. And I like roll down the window.
First felony, you always
like,
remember those.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, you know, my whole life's over. Like, what's the point? Guy looks at it and he goes, looks like you had a real successful day at the flea market, son. I was like, yes, sir, I did. Bye. You know. So anyways, get home.
The things
Dad,
you see, you know, as county sheriffs up near that Alabama-Tennessee border, it's not the worst.
Dad was unhappy because I had purchased a piece of communist words we'll not use. Yes. But he asked me to get that piece of communist crap out of his house because it was made by the Chinese, the Chi-Coms. Sorry.
Chi-Coms. That was right.
Dad doesn't use the word Chinese. And that caused a little bit of a rift. But for me, that was my first gun. That started my obsession with like firearms, especially historical military firearms. Even though it's extremely outdated, I still have that SKS. It's very cool. But you and I'm gonna set the stage for this.
Before we get into that, I gotta say, like, looking back at all this, you know, we were pretty fortunate where we grew up. And it's weird because like firearms are very regional, like what you'll see out there. Like for instance, growing up in Huntsville, Alabama, Civil War stuff was everywhere. Like I just took it for granted that, you know, oh yeah, we're gonna have, I don't know, Harper's Ferry walk in, or we'll walk into some place and see that, or Sharp's carbine. Is like up here in Minnesota, never, hardly. If you get someone who walks in with something like that, it's a very unusual day.
It seems like a lot of people have like black powder.
They have black powders. You'll see some of that.
Like old school.
We'll just get to see just tons of Winchesters, which I don't remember a lot growing up. Not a lot of lever guns in the South. It's just not as big of a thing.
I guess. I don't know.
But
we weren't around guns as much.
We weren't. But I mean, when I went to the gun shows later, it's like that's not something you see all over the place, but you see all over the place up here. And I didn't realize like how regional this has become, or still is actually.
So he's basically just stalling because he doesn't want me to tell the second installment of this story.
Yeah, so we get into which is
getting into Austin here. So Austin was what one might call anti-gun. Little teasing. Wasn't very big fan of me being a little gung-ho with the guns. And you had gone off to college. You had gone up to New York. And it kind of started, I'm not going to speak for you, but you got to college in New York. You were pretty more left-leaning.
I would say I was more left-leaning. I will say I don't think, looking back at it, I don't think I had really thought deeply about any one issue. It was more of definitely one of those regurgitating talking points for sure.
You're an antagonist, so anything that I was,
that was probably
we're gonna argue.
It's weird because we're like best friends now. Growing up, that was not the case. Many stories. We're
best friends.
Maybe I think so.
I mean, you know.
I mean, you're holding a gun to my head, so I mean.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. But we'll have many stories, I'm sure, as this goes along about growing up that have literally nothing to do with guns, but hopefully you'll enjoy them because we certainly do enjoy telling them. Our parents, not as much. That's beside the point. But yeah, so I mean,
they discover things as we get older.
Yeah,
you know, it's all about It's kind of like
it's statute of limitations.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Epstein files. Like you just want to slowly leak them out, you know? Get everybody real comfortable with them. Yes. Can't believe I compared us to that. That's terrible.
No, we shouldn't have done that. We're more like Diddy. But no. It's never too soon. No, I think moving to New York, I had I don't know if it's an awakening, red pill moment, whatever you want to call it. I ended up going to a Turning Point USA, believe it or not, thing up at Syracuse. Very early in the Turning Point USA stuff, and didn't know anything about them, didn't know who they were, and then Donald Trump comes to speak. And I lived in New York when he makes the announcement in 2015, comes down the escalator, and it was really funny because I didn't really think anything one way or the other politically necessarily. I just thought it was odd that literally the day before he declared, I happened to be watching live TV, and they had come visit New York, right? One of their tourist videos, and he's like the narrator in this thing. It's him, the Trump Tower, talking about how great New York City is. And the very next day after he declares, they run the same video, but he is nowhere to be found in the video. They completely scrubbed him overnight. And I was like, that seems a bit harsh. Like, I don't know anything about this guy. All I know is he's very successful, and I love to show The Apprentice because he always said, you're fired. And that was cool, right?
But let's get to the part where the guns
happen. So if I back up just a little bit before I moved to New York, I actually did buy my first gun off Facebook. I'm not sure we're allowed to say that on YouTube, but this was pre-Facebook bans. It was the Facebook Marketplace, I think, was really, really new. That was, it was always a touch with your friends, share stuff with them, and then I think they just rolled out the Facebook Marketplace, and there was like no restrictions. You can sell it whatever you want. I found a guy who has this gun for $50, and I don't know anything about it. And I go out.
Let me cut it. Okay. So I'm going through this officer program for the Navy in Texas, and Austin calls me and he goes, "Hey man, I bought a gun and I think it's hot." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "First of all, I need to sit down. You bought a gun?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, I bought a gun and it was hot." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I think it was maybe stolen or used in a crime." I was like, "Oh my God, Austin, why would you think that? What did you do?" And you go, "Well, I only paid $50 to a guy off of Facebook." And I was thinking, you're an adult man. Like, we should maybe think through our decisions a little bit here. I was like, "Oh, well, what is it?" And he goes, "I don't know. Let me go look." He comes back. He goes, It's called a High Point." I was like, "Oh, you're good."
JP,
I mean, it may have been used in a crime, but
more likely. Looking back on it and what the condition it was in, very possible. Got there was a JPH 45, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
JPH. JPH.
One of those. Took it out. We went to a local range that we had in Huntsville. Larry's Pistol and Pond. Give him a little shout out there from our hometown. And shot it because I'm like, I'm going to shoot this thing. I bought it. I spent the only $50 I had. Probably didn't eat that night because I was in college and broke, and it's what I could afford. And immediately traded in for a... Not
immediately. That was my Christmas gift to you. I gave you some money so you could trade
it. Was that day we went and shot it. I got...
Oh, yeah, the day we went and shot it. Yeah, but you'd had it for a while.
I had it for a little while. Yeah, I know. I didn't shoot it for probably a good month after I bought it. Just because where I went to school, there wasn't any indoor ranges or anything. Yeah. So we went and shot, traded for a Taurus 1911, which I still have that. Funny story though, I wasn't 21 at the time. I was 20. So, we had to have Dad.
No, that's not true.
I was. Yeah, Dad
gifted it. I was over 18.
I feel like Dad helped me get that. Maybe regardless. But we got that Taurus 1911, and immediately I had to turn it into the Punisher gun from Thomas Jane's 2004. So I got the nice little, compensator on the end. Kind of made it look like that old school Punisher Colt that he had. Obviously not as smooth on the trigger as the one he had, but that's beside the point. But then, and now, just 10 years later, I got a gun shop, an indoor range. And
maybe a little more than 10 years later. Yeah. But yeah,
well, I was trying not to date myself, but thank you,
Now you own a gun shop.
You're
You're unapologetically Second Amendment.
Yes.
Big advocates of the Second Amendment here. That's why you.
In fact, I went from not liking guns to we're in 07, 02, and we've literally built machine guns here. That's like how far into this I've gone. It's kind of an incredible journey when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Second Amendment is so important, and I tried to tell you that 15 years ago.
I didn't listen, and
here we are now.
I definitely say when we started this gun journey, even though we started at different periods of life, I don't think either one of us thought it would ever be like a career.
No, absolutely not. And like I try to think about, like I don't even remember. I think the first like historical gun I bought, I think was a Mosin. Like
that's the one that I remember you saying. Yeah, and of course this is pre-Russian ban, guys. So $30, $50.
No, I think I paid $80. I think I paid $80, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of expensive. I remember I bought it for $80 from somebody privately, and this was back when Gander Mountain was still around, and they were selling them for like $109, and everybody was like,
"Are you out of your mind?"
$110 for a Mosin?
So like, when I was out in California, was that California? No, I guess it was New York. I take that back. When I was in New York, I did go to a gun shop when I was up there, and they had a crate of Mosins, and the guy wanted like $1,100 for the whole crate, and I was like, "You're drunk." I literally.
But the reality is IRL outside of the United States. That'd be way overpriced.
That'd be
like
fantastic.
If you were in,
when
you're in Bulgaria and they're like, we have a crate of Mosins, you'd be like, cool. I'll give you a bottle or two of vodka.
Yes. Well, we were just talking about this the other day about when you think about the old days, there were still import taxes and everything in the United States. Of course, there's the shipping to get it here. You got to put it in a crate, right? Ship it across the ocean. That costs money. The unloading, then the importer, you have to pay them to bring it in and emblazon their stuff all over it. And still, after you go through that in the wholesale process to say Gander Mountain, it was $60 or $70. They were paying the Russians what, 50 cents a rifle?
I mean, it was nothing.
I mean, like that's kind of amazing, like how little the Russians were getting out of it, and now we just literally sold one for $500.
That's insane. And that guy is retarded.
And I just like, well, okay, that's what it goes for now. I don't understand it.
Garbage rod.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the only World War II rifle to this day that we really see fully attainable.
Pull up the page, Streaking Delilah. This is a good. This is a good time.
Segue,
so, as someone who is a big appreciator, aficionado when it comes to what I would consider to be surplus firearms, right?
Military surplus
firearms,
historical guns.
We drool all the time over just amazing designs, right?
We do.
Like cool things you wish you could have. Obviously, super blessing. We have some cool things. Johnson, like an original Dutch contract Johnson rifle. This is an Ohio Ordnance Works BAR, but like, and there was a time when I would see something like this and be like, man, I'm never going to be able to get something like that, right? But then, just go on the internet, to the old Instagram here. And you can watch all these wars in the Middle East.
On the line for those references.
They put on the line.
Yeah, if you get that reference, please comment down below. On the line.
Somebody put a donkey dong.
Yeah.
On an STG-44. And it's like, dude, like, okay, there's a couple of these here that I think are worth highlighting.
There is something that does need to be addressed in these particular pictures.
Yeah, no.
The lack of shoes.
Hold up now. This is my line.
Okay.
This is my line. Let me see if I can find this.
The reason why I bring it up is there's a lot of course, Afghanistan, what I would call Afghanistan
Syria,
surplus, the stuff that we left behind in 2021. We ended up actually, if you go back and look at the listings, we left something like 100,000 boots behind. Yeah, and like none of them have filtered out.
The A&A boots. Nobody cares about the boots.
I was like,
look at that. That dude has a Knights Armament M110 SAS. No shoes.
No shoes.
We got the nicest rifle, probably a Night Force scope on there. Blue jeans, and doesn't even have shoes. Do I have one of those? No, but you know what I got a friggin' lot of? Shoes.
Yeah.
Can I trade shoes for guns?
I'm just saying, it's like toys for tots, shoes for gats.
LWRC rifle in Yemen.
It's a business idea. Shoes for gats?
Shoes for gats.
Like toys for tots?
We just go over there, and it's like Toms. We'll start Toms, but we trade for international arms.
Yes, any lawyers in the comment section, just let us know what we can.
Yeah, what's the legality?
What's the legality behind that?
Trading. Every time you buy a pair of shoes, we give a pair of shoes.
It's like war dogs
for
all
an
over
AK.
again.
Yeah.
Except with guns, but the difference is, unlike them, where they were proliferating firearms throughout the world that would come back and maybe bite us, we're actually trying to remove them from the world.
It's like a better version of Fast and Furious.
That's exactly. We take them,
it's almost like two guys could do a better job than the ATF.
I know. It's like we're making sure
solving problems.
They're going to good homes, good countries, namely my basement. That's beside the point.
There's just like the lack of shoes. It's disturbing.
But we left like 100,000 combat boots behind, and I'm just, where do they go? Not apparent, or is that the currency? There's not. Is that how they pay for things? Is U.S. GI combat boots?
You know what? We should bring a little culture to the U.S. and make shooting AKs and celebration into the air. An American thing.
American holiday.
Yeah,
that's how you do.
Let's do that.
You just always wonder, like, what's that village like half a mile down from those videos? Just raining down bullets.
Just raining down. What goes up must come down.
I believe there was a MythBusters episode on that. And they said that it's 100% lethal when the bullet goes down.
Absolutely.
Which, not that you necessarily needed a MythBusters episode to tell you that.
But it's good we have one.
Thank God for early 2000s Discovery Channel. We learned a lot.
Solving all the problems. Speaking of solving problems, let's talk about this week's segment of Shut the Hell Up, brought to you by Silencer Shop. Again, we're not sponsored by Silencer Shop, but we would love to be sponsored by Silencer Shop. But we've got a little video here.
We're going to put on the screen for you. And this is in the illustrious state of Minnesota, by the way.
Yeah.
That flyover country. You may have heard of our governor. He had a little bit of a thing last year that ended in a kind of a whimper, though, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't think it worked out very well.
It didn't work out very well. But unfortunately, we're still stuck.
Yeah, thank God he could come home to us.
In some ways, when he was on the road, it was better.
Yeah, it was just like, it's like when in the office when Michael is gone and they're like, somehow we get more work done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Taxes went down for the 3 months he was gone, and then immediately went back up again.
This is in the great city of Edina, known for things like the Mighty Ducks. Every day I need attention, cake eaters. There's all kinds of things you could say about Edina. But they did this little thing this past, week and a half here.
Yeah, sure.
They wanted to follow St. Paul in banning, and I quote them, automatic firearms.
Automatic firearms.
They want to ban automatic firearms from Edina, which is an increase over, or basically what they think they're saying is ban semi-automatic firearms.
Correct.
But they don't
understand hyphens.
Inept mentally, and they have no idea what the difference.
Don't figure the people that have hyphens in their name don't understand hyphens.
It is interesting. It is interesting. So we're gonna watch this and just see how many times they say automatic firearms.
Automatic rifles, but not necessarily all automatic rifles because it blows through the wall.
It'll
if it's too strong.
Blow right
through the wall.
An automatic rifle.
Some of these automatic weapons ought to be banned.
Automatic rifles.
The military-style automatic weapon.
What's
an automatic
really
weapon?
interesting too.
Automatic rifles.
Like
automatic rifles because it blows through the wall if it's too strong.
This tiny city in a state, and be like, the moment you cross that line,
felon.
It stops though. Like it just ends. It's like I'm carrying my, we're an 0703. I'm carrying my fully automatic MP5, and then all of a sudden I cross in Edina and it just evaporates off my body. But when I go into Eden Prairie, it's right back there. It's just
ask me a question about welding. Just
any question.
Just any question. Ask me a question about welding.
TIG or MIG?
I am not very educated on the subject, and I don't know anything about it, so I don't feel comfortable giving you my opinion. Do you see how easy that was?
Yeah.
That's nuts. I mean, that's crazy.
It's crazy. I just liken this to, could you imagine, which in Minnesota, we could see this actually happen, where city of Minneapolis, let's just say, it says, we're not going to allow the selling of Bibles inside city limits. And everyone would lose their ever-loving minds, hopefully. Actually, in this state, it's hard to know, especially depending on the location. And you'd be like, that is correct, because there's a thing called the First Amendment. You cannot do that. However, we can ban certain things when it comes to guns.
This brings up a good topic. But I don't know if they have names here, but the Edina City Council, you guys should maybe watch some YouTube videos and get a little education on things. But here's really the big thing that I would like you to learn. is that we have this thing in the United States called the Second Amendment.
And in the state of Minnesota, we have state preemption laws that says you cannot make laws.
So like the crazy thing is like I would give you a pass and be like, all right, so maybe you don't know that much about guns because firearms are not your forte. You know, that's
which
not
is okay.
What that's okay. Not saying anything bad about it, but as you are a governing body, one might say that law is kind of something that you might want to read a little bit up on.
Do you think there was a raising of the hand and
swearing in on some things? So maybe, just maybe, you should quit and shame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just a thought. It's just a thought.
One might even say treason, though, when you knowingly
Definitely
violate
treason.
the law. I think there's a good argument there. If you knowingly violate a law because you say you don't care, and I'm not saying this hyperbole. We literally had the mayor of St. Paul says, I understand the state preemption laws, but we're going to do this anyway.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's just like, boy, can you imagine some of these other things in our life that if they came out and said that, what would be the reaction on the other side?
Right, like so. Let's imagine that there is some type of ban that says that I cannot conceal carry anymore, right? And I say, well, I'm going to conceal carry anyways. At least I could be like, well, I don't know if you guys have read the Constitution of the United States of America, but I have a law that protects me and allows me to bear arms. It's my right, you know? And if I did that, I guarantee you I'd end up in the slammer faster than anything. But the governing bodies can get up in front of people and just be like, yeah, we know that this is illegal, but we're going to do it anyways.
Right. Which kind of does bear the question, why have laws? If you can say, like, hey, I can do whatever I want.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking white claws.
Yeah, so I'm kind of saying, like, I find that interesting. As someone who's kind of switched over to the other side, if you will, and a lot of the reason why I'm there is because I am, for the most part, a fairly logical person. But it's like I can't square those two things. You can't.
The really nice thing about politicians that I think is interesting is that they like to ban guns.
And trade better than you and I can?
Well, yes.
Or are we allowed to say that? Oh.
They like to ban guns.
I'll be sponsored by JP Morgan Chase, too, just saying, anytime you want to come in.
And they do that standing behind security teams who have...
Which you may or may not have been a part of it.
We're not going to talk about that, but they like to stand behind security teams that have all the guns that they want to ban. And it's just kind of like, it's really interesting.
Kind of a funny story about security in the United States. Generally speaking, there, of course, are exceptions, as always. Most of the time, security companies don't issue firearms to their officers. The officers provide their own. They may get a stipend. A lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of that does have to do with the legalities and the laws of states and federal. It makes it tough to have just a store of weapons that unlike the movies, that you can just run into and be like, oh, look at all these MP5s that every private security team has in Marvel. I'm afraid that that's not normally how it works here.
I would love to get hired by them, though.
Listen, Marvel Security, I'm in. They got to pay well. I don't even care if they're. So you got Shield, and then what was
Hydra? Is it Hydra?
Let's do it. I mean, if I get those,
are we signing up for Hydra?
If we get those cool like plasma things, just make it go poof. I'm in. I want one of those on the wall. So, yes.
Yeah, it amazes me how bad they are at shooting, though.
But how good Captain America is with a shield.
He's pretty good with a shield. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And I just want to say that the Winter Soldier, who is the assassin in the world, right? I don't know if I'd hire him because he misses a lot. Like, I'm just... Yeah.
He also uses a VZ-61 Scorpion, which is chambered in .32 ACP. So that's a
funny story. We have one of those.
We do have one of those. That's a fun thing.
The guns that they choose.
We're the worst people to watch any gun movie with.
I mean, like, let's just talk Raiders
my
of the Lost
favorite
Ark.
is when, and just so everybody knows.
We should talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark sometime. Where they used MP40s in 1936. MP40 wasn't invented until 1940. Just saying.
I love watching law enforcement movies, and they hold their handgun, or TV shows, and they hold their handgun like this, and they're like, freeze. And you're like, dude, one shot, and that thing's going to pop back and hit you in the face.
Yeah. Well, but Mark Harmon, or however you say his name, from NCIS is he's got a body count the size. I think Rambo would.
Oh my God, yeah, the the way that they can hammer down, but bad guys can never hit them
back. Yeah.
Well, once every like 57 episodes, somebody catches one, you know.
But it's always a flesh wound, you know. It kind of reminds you of the Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he comes into the real world via that special ticket, gets shot, and is like going to die, and they instantly put him back in the movies. And they're like, what is going on here? This is a flesh wound. Get your ass out there. Like, that's exactly how Hollywood works. If you're a good guy in Hollywood,
it's just like, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're about to make a movie, which is highly unlikely, just hire us. We'll teach you all kinds of things. Like, was it True Lies when she drops the Mac 10 or there's a Mac 11 and it just goes down the stairs, starts shooting, which
well, I will say with the Mac that could theoretically be possible. Maybe open bolt gun, not well made,
but it's not going to just keep going.
No, they fire once and that would be it.
And also
not hit everyone miraculously. As someone who has a Mac 11,
and also fire,
I could be standing near to him, empty the magazine, and you'll see an outline of Alex, but nothing where you're shooting at.
Which is tough because I'm fat.
It's a very inaccurate gun, but it magically hits all the bad guys.
And the magazine, like the fire rate on the Mac 11 is a gajillion rounds a second.
Yeah.
And the magazine somehow lasts like 4 stories. You're like, wow, that thing is just still freaking bouncing.
And that's, of course, ignoring the jumping on a Harrier, you know, on the outside.
Well, there's a lot of things, but we could get into. There are good movies out there.
There is.
Heat
is good.
Solid movie. Honestly.
You know, shockingly, when we mention this, the original Die Hard is actually really good.
Not that bad.
He is changing magazines fairly often. Now, yes, the inconsistency in how many magazines he has on his body.
Or how many rounds each magazine seems to hold for the MP5.
We do see changing of magazines. Yeah. There are some things.
Glorious hip fire. Like, let's bring back the 1980s
hip fire.
Super accurate hip fire. It's like you watch the movie and you're like, man, if just one of these guys would figure out that there's an extendable stock on the MP5, this would be a really short movie, and you guys would actually get away with all this money.
But I got to say, you know, in terms of weapons handling, it's somewhat impressive. The original Terminator
Heat is still
is one of the better ones.
One of the best ones.
Actually, the original Terminator is very good in the weapons handling.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little less so in the second.
9mm.
Yeah, it gets a little less so in the second one with the
plasma
Winchester.
rifle.
What is it? The 1880
40-watt range
that has like unlimited shots when it carries like 4 rounds. That's beside the point, you know.
Oh, that's a sick shotgun though.
Yeah, this is a sick shot. Which we had one come through here. I should have kept.
You do have an AMT hardball.
We do have an AMT hardball. We also technically have, it's a Singapore contract, but we do have a fully automatic AR-18.
AR-18. Yeah, that is also pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool gun from the 1980s.
But we have an Uzi 9mm.
We do have
Uzi 9mm.
We're literally just we don't have the Ithaca 37, which is what, of course, Kyle Reese uses. You know, the anti-Terminator shotgun. That's what we should market that.
Yeah, and look, I don't know.
And we're missing the plasma rifle, unfortunately.
In the 40-watt range.
I feel like we
in the 60-watt range. It was in the 40-watt range.
40-watt range, pretty sure. We are actually in the Terminator.
Is it just me or does 40-watt not sound like a lot?
Well, considering
I think we use 100-watt light bulbs.
We do.
Like, I would want something maybe a little more than 40-watt.
Just a mild shock is really what But you remember, the machines were doing to shoot other machines.
I suppose.
So maybe the shock works. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's very.
But with all this AI, I'm in here and like watch all these people, and I'm like, God, we are like, you know, like
all this AI. We
Skynet, and then it gets to Genesis, and it's like Genesis is Skynet, and then I go to sleep every night and. You know, little me, he goes, AI is Genesis, Skynet, all of it, you know.
Then here we are using ChatGPT to help bring you this podcast.
Sure.
So I will say this. I'm going to be like Michael in that one episode from The Office where he's with that sales rep that he thinks is in the mob. And he gives his order for lunch. He's like, if it's not this, I send it back. If AI builds robots and they send them to me to kill me, I will say, you can kill me, but if it doesn't have the voice of Arnold, I'm going to send you back. And then you can come back when you fix that.
Yeah, because you're not worthy.
Yes, that's the way it has to be.
100%.
It has to be that way. I have seen my death, and that is not how this works. So you're going to go back and fix that.
Yeah, like...
Seriously.
100%. Like AI... I will tell you, though, the second that AI starts producing a naked, ripped Arnold Schwarzenegger talking bot, I mean, we know it's over.
Right? We know it's over. We know that the missiles will be flying shortly, and we will be living in the sewers of Los Angeles. And I know when we say that, normally you're thinking just the city of Los Angeles right now.
It's
We're
really,
talking actually underground of Los Angeles.
It's crazy because it didn't really take all of the robots for that to kind of turn in
the truth. You know, that's.
You remember when Skid Row was just a row? It was just one row.
Yeah, it was just a row. Now it's a neighborhood. Actually, now it's a city.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. But that's probably a little off topic.
Yeah, it's a slight, but that's what we're here for. We're here more to rant.
I've never seen a BAR in any of the Terminator movies, so maybe.
Did they not make it?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
I do wonder what this will do against the T-800 exoskeleton. You know.
Yeah.
The 50 BMG worked.
The 50 BMG worked for sure.
They took that out. 30-06 has
some black tips. We get some black tips.
Yeah, you know, I think that might work as long as they hit it in the power cell. You know, we saw those like mini nukes when they go off from Terminator 3. So that's really all you need is to hit one of those, and then you're good. I know the Terminator Genesis played with that a little bit. That's getting a little nerdy though for most people out there. There may be a problem.
The point is,
I had problems with Terminator Genesis. If you cannot tell,
the point is have guns.
Yeah, I mean, they're, and that's where the first one actually really comes in to play, because in the future you actually see the resistance, even though it's a very obviously brief dream sequences with a variety of firearms in the background. You see FALs, that kind of stuff that you actually would expect to see in the future.
Terminator 2, what was not there? But you know what was not there?
What?
The Edina City Council.
No, it was not there. In fact, I think it was a giant crater in the ground.
Yeah.
I also noticed though in the Terminator movies, like the whole world centers around Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It never there. Yeah. What if we live out here? It may be fine. For all we know, there may be literal Terminator battles going on in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
because that's actually where everything happens. It's just we're here. We're not there. I don't know. I haven't been to LA in a while.
I mean, either. I avoid it.
Maybe we have to check that out.
Thank God, In-N-Out is leaving.
Yeah, In-N-Out's coming to Tennessee of all places.
Tennessee. God bless Tennessee.
If you're going to bring it up to Minnesota, I have at least one friend that will be there every day. Joey, that's a shout out for you there, buddy. But yeah, I think is that a solid first episode?
I think that's a pretty good first episode.
First episode,
talk a little trash, and then just go down rabbit holes. We like to let the tism take over.
We might even break out those signs, tinfoil hats at some point.
We should for sure.
If we get, I tell you what, we should.
I'm pretty sure that's a 5G phone we're filming on.
Yeah,
we should be wearing tinfoil on our heads and our other heads.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I tell you what. If you guys get us to 500 subs, we will wear tinfoil hats for Friends entire episode. Yeah, that feels like a fair.
That's a fair thing.
Remember the old Golic, the Golic and Mike and Mike shows, and
I'm not oiling up.
And
I will not oil up.
Yeah, I will oil something up.
We'll oil. Yeah, we'll P Diddy a gun for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we should be sponsored by Johnson and Johnson. I don't know.
Do you think their oil?
I think their sales dropped massively recently.
Do you think it keeps up with high heat?
I don't know.
We should do that.
We could do a test of
what
commercial oils work with firearms.
We could get like some olive oil.
Actually, I feel like olive oil might work quite well.
I feel like it's going to smoke up a lot, but I feel like it would work pretty good.
I mean, the things that you might need to use in the pitch, just speaking of the Terminator, we could do an apocalypse. What can you do? If you got to go to
oil, obviously, it's
going to work well. Maybe that's a good episode.
Because that's high heat.
It's probably a good episode in the future. Like
KY jelly?
Everyone has KY jelly,
I mean, who knows? Is that gonna hold up to the heat?
I don't know. We know Cosmoline won't.
Cosmoline will not.
But
we've had to clean a lot of Cosmoline out of these guns.
Some of them are still getting cleaned out.
That's called the Soviet KY jelly.
It is the Soviet KY jelly. That's why all their women walk stiff.
Oof. I didn't need that mental picture, but thank you.
That's a tear and tackle version. No.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. We probably should cut that out.
We'll get our producer, i.e. one of us, to go over to the computer over there and do that.
And put the delete button.
But no, thank you so much for sitting down with us for a little while we BS our way through just talking about guns. The reality is you do have the Second Amendment in the United States. One of the big things that we believe in, the reason why the podcast is called Lexington and Concord, is because without Lexington Concord, there would be no United States of America. Any politician that gets up there and they say, back in the day, you couldn't have X, Y, Z. At Lexington and Concord, the British were marching to take the cannon and the powder away from the colonists, and that is why there is a United States of America today. Never forget Lexington and Concord.
It's
Never
hard to
forget.
believe that was in Massachusetts today.
Yeah, it is hard to believe. It's sad.
Obviously, our name here is 2 by Sea Tactical, reference to Paul Revere's ride. The entire Freedom Trail is right there in Boston. You should go visit it. It's worth a visit. I've seen it. It's amazing how small those buildings are in the modern city, of course. But I mean, when you think about it, but that if there was to be a rebirth of revolution, it would not be coming from Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, all the gun manufacturers that established historical gun manufacturers that for literally over a century, a bunch of them, some of the oldest ones, Smith and Wesson, the Connecticut area too had a lot. Like Colt was in Connecticut for a long time.
They're all leaving.
They're all leaving the northeast,
going either to the Midwest or down south.
Yeah.
Mostly south, but I mean, obviously Montana's gotten big.
God bless the South.
To be fair, that's true all over the world, with some exceptions. When you think of like England, right? Tower of London was a lot of their weapons. Nothing's made in London anymore. It's all going out to the boonies. That's kind of true across the world, where weapon manufacturing is in the boonies.
Shout out to everybody who serves in the British military and has to use an L85. But
if you want to send us one, though,
for sure.
we'll definitely take one.
We'll put the PO box down at the.
Yeah. I feel like there's a way that we could get an L85 in the United States.
I mean, there are. I've shot them at Machine Gun Vegas. Before.
Yeah, they have. There's a couple. Obviously, Ian's done a few. There's a few around. It's just amazing that weapon system was trusted with an empire. Though the empire is smaller than it's ever been, so maybe there's a correlation there. But I don't know. It's either that or a queen. I don't know. I don't know. We're definitely going to get Epstein for that one.
No, you can't talk about the royal family.
I know. Yeah, we will disappear.
Just so everybody knows, we are very happy individuals. We are not depressed.
Not at all.
We
have 0 ties to the royal family.
Yeah, and just happy as can be. Yes. Also, I'm a pretty good driver. I don't do drugs and stop on railroad tracks or anything like that.
I definitely don't. Our camera system here has never glitched.
Yeah. There's never been a camera glitch ever.
So nothing like that. There's no mysterious uncles or anything that we're aware of. We may have some repressed memories of uncles, but not that I'm aware of. So yeah, anything happens to us,
ask questions. Yeah, just ask questions.
Asking all
them questions. If we die, you better be asking all them questions.
I feel like I should tag that video in the bottom.
Yeah, they'll love that.
Throwback.
But anyways, thank you all so much for taking a little bit of time to check
comment,
this out.
And subscribe, folks.
Yeah, let us know what you would like us to talk about, expound.
We kind of want this to be a podcast for you. Like, of course, there's a lot of things we like to talk about, but if there's something you want us to rant and rave on, I'm all about ranting and raving on something. Oh, yeah. So let's do it. We should talk. I think the next time we should talk about our favorite gun presidents. There's only going to be 3 to choose from.
There's one. There's really one.
Theodore Roosevelt?
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That's true. Okay, we
just do a whole podcast on Theodore Roosevelt.
That's what we should do, and that's a tease for next time. So.
Yeah, we'll have some guests on. We'll have a good time. But thank y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, keep your powder dry.